it's weirdly consistent with some of the things within the last couple volumes about some of the characters. At least one thing that is very consistent about this volume so far is Penny is the best character within it. I really wanted it to be Qrow. I really like Qrow, but like his character has gotten such back burner this arc, but whatever. So, starts out, we already know from episode 4 that they all got made into official hunters and huntresses, or huntsmen, sorry, not hunters. And they're all getting sent on missions. I was a little salty that Jaune keeps getting put on all these silly kitty ones. And, like, he's been training since volume 1, and already you have, like, Oscar's already ahead of him. And Jaune is just, he's progressing, but it's such a slow pace that it makes me wonder, like, how is he going to be able to keep up when the actual big stuff happens? Because really, he can fight, like, generic Grimm, but anytime there's any, like, some big character, like, again, if someone like Tyrion shows up, or Watts, or Hazel, any of the big bad guys, like, what is he really going to be able to bring to the table? I think they need to quit screwing around and get Jaune to a point of being able to completely hold his own. And it's not like, oh, well, they're building him up over some time. This is volume 7. It's been out for 7 years. They can get him to a point of, well, he's competent and capable now. Obviously, there's still more you can do with him. I mean, the whole stuff with Pyrrha and, just him reflecting always off of that is really good for his character. It really does a lot. And, they've done it so kind of like spread out and sparingly that it holds a lot of weight no matter, like, any time that it's shown. But it was very cool to see, like, he's got all these girls that keep seemingly having a thing for him in the streets as he's just, like, helping kids cross in crosswalks and whatnot. I was happy about that. At least Jaune got to, have somewhat of a plus to all this. Also, this Grimm right here, this, like, ice lion one was really neat. I wish they actually let that one be more relevant. It's a much cooler design than that, I can't remember what it's called. The one from was it episode 3? I don't know, that the big spirit one that went and took over that big ice golem. I already forgot what it's called. I guess that's because it was just not important, but whatever. And one thing that is very consistent over the last couple volumes is when it's depicted like, some other characters like overstepping bounds, but really I agree with said character. Like, there's a part in this episode where one of the new dudes, one of the Aesop guys, is like talking to Blake and Yang. He's like, maybe you guys should, branch out outside of just dueling with each other, and stuff. And they did some like teamwork combo move and beat one of the Grimm and then gave him some like grouchy scowl. But I mean, it's not like they don't know how to work with each other. Obviously, they've got their teamwork underway. But he makes a good point that they should branch out and be able to sync up with other people. Like, that's one of the things that I imagine, and what we've seen is the bigger aspects of being within grouped up in the series. It's not just like, how well do you know each other in fights? How well do you combo together? And Blake and Yang obviously combo together really well. But what happens when they're not on the same team? If you just focus on one thing, then once that one thing is separated, then what are you going to do? You need to be able to hone yourself in multiple areas. And I just thought that was weird, because they've had a lot of instances throughout the last couple volumes like that, where it's like, well, this guy's made out to be like a jerk because he says something, but in reality, whatever the thing was normal or just logical. I don't know. It was a silly aspect of the episode, because I'm just wondering, like, do they understand what the guy's saying? This guy's, he's been a professional for a while, and they've already shown that him and the other Aesops, like, their group, they aren't really friends, they aren't close, they just are able to work well together out in the field. So in that aspect, clearly, like, he's been working with that, and so have all the other, like, Aesops. So why aren't you taking that piece of advice? Why are you taking that as an insult? Think about it and be like, oh yeah, he's probably right. We should learn how to do combos with other people, but also learn how to, like, adapt to newer people teamed up with, and how fast that you can work out, like, combinational moves with them. That would be a really big aspect to gain on your side. But we saw some fun stuff. We got to see Neon and Flint and some guy named Cobalt. I prefer Neon's old design, and this one is way more, like, hard kept, but I guess maybe that's like her more of like civilian attire. I mean, she's still in, the Atlas military, so she's just got to have some degree of uniform set to her. So, I mean, I guess that's fine. All I can say is I like her other design more. I think that's a different voice actress. I can't really tell. I'd have to go back and watch some of the old episodes to really, to get that on it. But it was nice to see her again, because I did really like her character back when we saw her during the Vital Festival, and it was weird that, you had such a fun character, such a fun design, and then just she wasn't really relevant after that point. But I mean, she's not like she has to be a big character. She just had a very interesting design and like aspect to her that I did wish would come back. I mean, she was a roller skating glow stick dust nunchuck user who had a rainbow behind her, and her whole thing is she liked to taunt and bait her opponents, get and do some head games. I like that aspect. I thought it was a really fun for her character. But beyond that, we saw the whole interaction with what's her name, Robin Hill. Supposed to be Robin Hood, but all chick group instead. So her character, I was like watching the episode the whole time and thinking, well, is she supposed to be like an outlaw? But I guess she's running for like a council seat, but she's like trying to press their military for information. And this whole time, Clover, I just would have been like, anytime she asks a question, tries to find out classified information, I'd be like, it's none of your business. It's absolutely none of your business. You want to find out, join the military and rise the ranks, but I'm not going to give classified information away to you, of all people. So no, you're not getting anything. And like, not only that, but she was like trying to, for one, press them like verbally, trying to like get them in a corner to get this information out of them. But we saw that they were having people, like she's having people sneak up behind their truck, and then Penny came out and then brought it up, and her presence just swords out, ready to flex on him. That's good. I like that. I was just like, I'm glad somebody decided to be like, hey, how about you mind your own damn business and you get out of our way, or things are going to get, a little aggressive. Because that dude Clover, he's a military guy. He's one of the Aesops. I'm pretty sure he's their leader. I think that was stated. It seems to be. But he should absolutely in no way take any form of pressing from this girl. It's just like, no, I'm not giving you anything. Go, get out of here. You and your little cow chick and any of your other little freelance chicks, get the hell out of the way. You're not part of this. It's none of your business. I thought that part was just really strange, because I think in any normal scenario, and obviously this is a fiction, but these are military guys. Like, Clover's a military guy. At that point, you just tell him, like, no, I'm absolutely not going to give you any information. No, get out of here. I just thought that part was strange, because it's like, what is she going to do? I mean, she seemed to be wanting to, jump them by having people sneak up behind them. It's like, you want to start a battle with the military of your own country? Go ahead. I welcome you to see how that goes. But, I don't know, her character, I'm not really interested in a Robin Hill. I like to see Penny flex on her, because out of Volume 7, like, Penny so far has been, I think, the best character. Like, Qrow has gotten, like, pushed back into, like, a spot of being, like, they took away his, like, drunk aspect to him, which was, like, man, that sucks, because, that was always a fun aspect of him. He didn't have to be like, oh, I'm some hard alcoholic trouble guy. I mean, there was that part in, was it Volume 5, when they're in that town? I don't remember if it was Volume 5 or 6, but in that whole part when, those big, creepy, slow-moving Grimm. I mean, there's that, but that was, they were having their mind, like, affected. They didn't have to change that aspect about him, because, I mean, other than, oh, wow, I don't drink anymore now. I mean, he's just gloomy, and he's got, like, a bromance with Clover? I hope he sticks to that. They don't just be like, oh, yeah, he's gay now just because. They're doing some weird stuff with his character on the back burner. I expected that they were going to do something offhanded with him once they, decide to switch to voice actors, because, I mean, the character was so heavily, like, tied to the voice acting for Vic Mignogna, and then they switched him, and I don't know if they wanted just to get that character less because of that level of tie he had to the said character. I don't know, but they've definitely put him on the back burner for this volume. I mean, he's not got nearly as much of a presence that he's had before, even like the parts where he didn't do a whole lot as a character, but just him being there already was, a level of influence, because he not only was very intelligent, he was very experienced, he was very strong. I mean, he hasn't really done much in a while. I mean, I don't know. But the other two characters that, you would have Jaune, who I still think is the best written character in the series right now. I think they're taking a little too long to actually have Jaune, like, able to fight in a normal set. They need to stop making him kind of so clumsy and goofy. I mean, he can still be comedic, but they need to make it so, he's able to hold his own in a fight between a real character, not just some generic nameless Grimm that, there's probably 100 of them and he's struggling against one, while all these other characters are just mowing down them in mass. I mean, we should be long past that, but they're still pushing that around. I mean, I'm hoping Jaune masters his semblance, because we haven't really seen much of it since he obtained it, and then just have him go around, like, being pretty much the paladin that he's supposed to be laid out as. Yeah, I don't know. And then the actual one that's holding the spot right now is Penny. I like that Penny's new design. I like the way that she's able to, have a fun, quirky, like, nature to her, and also be funny without it feeling, out of character or offhand or demeaning. Like, with Jaune, a lot of the time, they'll do it in a way to make him look stupid, or, other characters make fun of him. Stop hurting my boy, leave him alone. Or Penny's just doing her, robotic funniness. And then when it comes time to it, like with Robin Hill, she just got out there and she's just, she decided to pull out her weapons, and that chick knew that if she's going to continue, she's going to get wrecked, and Penny was going to beat the shit out of her and completely solo their team. I bet she could take all those nerds. But beyond that, we got to see some stuff between Weiss and Winter, and stuff with the Winter Maiden. And what's weird is, I know that they, from what I've read, is the relics and the two brothers were planned since the start by Montiome, and then at some point they just decided to add the four maidens. And you can tell by, like, now you have, like, you had a character named Winter in it that was established in, I want to say Volume 1, it might have been Volume 2, but, you have, character named Winter, and then you have the maidens, where one is the Winter Maiden. So now you have Winter becoming the Winter Maiden, but at a point you had a character that was the Winter Maiden and Winter, but they weren't the same character, and I don't know, stuff like that. It's not a big deal at all. I mean, I'm sure any of the characters can distinguish if you say, like, Winter and Winter Maiden, especially in context of what you're talking about. Stuff like that would just bother the hell out of me, as if I was the one writing up the story. It's like, we can't have a character named that and have, a character completely tied to this title, because then now she's going to be Winter the Winter Maiden. What happens if Winter became the Summer Maiden, or the Spring Maiden? Like, stuff like that would just be like, goddamn, we can't have that. But there's that whole layup, and then the progression of, the whole conflicts in Atlas, and Jacques has decided to shut down a lot of the stores that sell dust because of the embargo. He's trying to push the people against Ironwood and trying to get the council spot to oppose him. So that is interesting. I like that there's, some world event stuff going on. I guess it's more, it's more like country, but you know what I mean, like world events. It's the widespread. It's not just in the main character group. Because legitimately, I'm not too interested in what's going on with, like, Team RWBY right now. I mean, like, what? Like, the only thing about RWBY that I, like, enjoy seeing is that she's usually with Penny, so I get to see Penny. Yang and Blake are just always together, and just, I don't know what the plan is with their characters. I still see, like, the possibility of them making them a thing, making them an actual couple, and at the same time, I'm like, what was the point of building up Sun and Blake then for multiple seasons if you're going to cut it off? I don't mind, like, characters ending up together as long as it makes sense and it's natural, but when you decide, because I still think a lot of RWBY's decisions in the writing are influenced by the fandom for some of these guys, which I think is stupid. Because it'll be like, well, what's the point of Sun's character? Because you had this whole long story piece about Blake having, feelings kept up about Adam, but she knew that he was a bad person, but she grew up, looking up to him and having this strong tie to him. And, it was that kind of, like, forbidden, like, we need to get away from this, love for this character. And then she has Sun, who's, because she has a lot of interaction issues and a lot of just social issues, and obviously with Adam, there's, some, love life issues. She was having trouble with this nice guy, and that was a really interesting thing between her character, because, I mean, really, that was the most interesting thing between her character, because Blake isn't that interesting, the character, outside of being a cat girl. But I don't know. I think it'll be kind of stupid if they just pair up Yang and Blake for the sake of shipping, because then it's like, well, what's the point of Sun? What was the point of that entire subplot for them if you're just gonna throw that away? What is this character really gonna bring into the series now? I mean, Neptune, they kind of started out Neptune and Weiss being a thing, and then did away with that, and then his character was completely pointless. I don't know. Either way, we'll see how that goes. I'm just whatever. I can't control the writing, but I can comment on stuff that I think is good writing and stupid writing. Like, one, stupid writing, making characters paired up for the sake of shipping. And good writing, how they've done Jaune's character. Jaune's character is very well written, and I really enjoy seeing, parts in progress for him. Like the whole part, and I remember back when he ended up seeing Pyrrha's mom and that whole moment with the statue. I thought that was great. You got a lot of that scene out of, telling Jaune's character and depicting where, his whole journey is going. I mean, guys, really, look at Jaune. He had that whole, he couldn't contribute to that fight, helpless. He was, pretty much put into literally put into a locker. He was kept away from that fight, and because of that, he wasn't able to help the woman he loved, and she was killed. And he just keeps reflecting on it, back when we saw, in Volume 4, when he was training with recorded audio and video of her. That was fantastic. I love that part. That whole scene still gives me chills, and yet, feelings at the same time, just because of what you knew or that, emotional tie was. But other than that, comment below. Tell me your thoughts are about the episode. I don't know. I thought it was a fine episode. I'm always enjoying seeing Penny. I like the progress of what's going on with Atlas as the location itself and the stuff that's going on with Watts, and the whole citizens now getting ready to do a complete total long-ranged riot. Wonder how that's gonna go. There's probably gonna have to do some send some of the huntsmen and huntresses and be like, hey, how do you go quell some of these guys? Take care of them. Maybe just help arrest them. Don't kill them. Definitely don't kill a bunch of just pissed off citizens. But anyway, yeah, comment below, thumbs up the video, press the like button and subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Other than that, I appreciate everyone for listening and everybody who's already subscribed and stuttering right near the end. And until next time, bye.